Well, welcome to GNT. You want to stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
I'm not sure if our intro didn't play or if the sound on the TV just isn't working, but either way, we'll just get going. Today we are going to start with, there was a Far Cry 5 teaser that was released. And I'll admit that from last week I was wrong that teaser we talked about that was filmed was for Far Cry. It is I guess it is a Western game. It's not like a typical Western game that I thought.
It's not in the past Western.
Right,
it's modern
right.
day Western themed, I guess you could say. But it is set in the modern day, so that's promising.
Yeah, it's supposed to take place in Montana, and yeah, like you said, modern time, and you're fighting against like a group of theocratic separatists, like kind of like a religious cult type thing, and I think it started a lot of I don't know if I would say controversy, but a little bit of backlash because the group that you're fighting against is like supposed to be like a white Christian type group, and like oh, I forgot we have the image we'll show here.
That's not it. Oh, here we go.
So you can see obviously a Montana, the American flag. The stars were replaced with kind of like a cross type thing. Then we have the guy that says sinner down at the bottom. If I can get that in. So kind of a focus on religion and if you don't, kind of people using religion to justify violent action in America. Just a few comments. We'll do another segment of the people speak. Phenom XAM said, confirmed you have to climb a bell tower and bang some guy's head on the bell to reveal a map. That would be awesome, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Because in the teaser, the guy banging the guy's head off the bell in the teaser. Ike Perez said, I'm honestly scared and hyped for this game. And then, say, Fraka, I think, says, this looks so much like a teaser to a horror game, which is true. It kind of really had a creepy feel to it, which I liked. At the end of the one teaser I watched, they had people singing Amazing Grace, I think, and it kind of gave it a creepy feel, which was cool. Momo JR 1910 said, is this about Hannah Montana?
There could be Hannah Montana references in the game. We're not going to count that out as a possibility. We
can
may see that in the teaser trailer tomorrow. So there's a high possibility of Hannah Montana being in there.
Yeah, we can neither confirm nor deny the Hannah Montana. S. Patel said, don't make me skin 10 animals just so I can carry an extra grenade or ammo.
I didn't mind that.
I didn't either.
But I guess depending on your play style, I mean, that could be kind of, I mean, they might, I'm sure they're going to come out with some way of crafting and expanding your ammo capacity and grenade capacity and whatnot. How they go about doing that,
No,
who knows?
I always thought it was fine. Darren Douglas said, more anti-Christian entertainment politics from the fascist left. Fascist left doesn't really make sense, but the only reason I put this in there was because there was quite a bit of comments like this, and not that I agree with them, but I mean that is what people are saying about this game. And then Noah Fennell commented kind of the opposite view. I don't care what race you are or whatever, I just love playing video games where violent psychopaths are in charge of a place or people. That's why I'm excited. Who cares about the color of their skin? It's an effing video game. And I kind of agree with him. I mean, I totally agree with him.
Yeah, this is, I mean, and we're not going to go off on a big tangent, but I think too much these days is, I know there is an issue with race, but I don't have a problem with it, and I think that's the problem with seeing, I don't want to get into it. I just want to say that I kind of agree. It's a video game, just like how Bolivia got all bent out of shape about Ghost Recon Wildlands, and how Lindsay Lohan thought she could sue Rockstar. It's a form of art. You're not going to go sue an artist that paints a picture of one person and not another. We're all people. We're all different. If you like video games, you'll play the video game. Far Cry isn't a series known for really strong storytelling. They do tell a story, but it's not ever particularly strong. So it's not like they're going to get real deep into the whole, the whole part of the controversy. It's just a loose basis for you to go around and kill people, And I don't think too many people get hung up on it.
I don't think so.
I mean, like I said, the people that get paid much more than us make decisions on these games, and they have to they bring these things to the table whenever they say, listen, is this going to be a problem? And on the flip side of that coin, even if they do think that it may be a little bit of a problem, free publicity. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, well, if it does cause a problem, then it's going to promote our game, and people are going to want to play it for that controversy, which gets sold more copies. So,
any press is good press.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, I agree. It's just a game. I think people read too much into it, and
there were people that were talking about, there are other issues in the world today. Why not make a game about that? But it's like they've made games about the Middle East, about other issues. I'm actually excited to see kind of an issue within the country. I mean, like I said, without getting too into it, there are people that have these stances, and it is an issue. So I think it's cool to see a different video game with a different, story, I guess.
Well, and my thing is like, yeah, there are a bunch of issues that you could make a video game about, but this is Ubisoft's vision, and Ubisoft wants to make this video game based on this. And you, as a consumer, have the right not to purchase it, not to play it. Is it disheartening if you're a Far Cry fan? Maybe, if you strongly feel that this game is offensive to you, which some people might. I understand that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But, if you want a game, there are a lot of games out there, and they deal with a lot of different issues, like you said. And I think it's just a matter on if you're able to see past that or not read too much into it and enjoy the game, then enjoy the game. If it's something that you probably will get hung up on, then don't purchase the game. There are plenty of other games out there, and there will be other games like Far Cry that will be coming out. So, you'll have your opportunity to play a game of, that nature that isn't going to offend you.
And if we're going to talk about, problems in other areas of the world, I mean, it's good for you to be able to look at yourself and your country on a bigger scale and be able to look at problems you're having on your own and seeing, to think, say, oh, United States, we're perfect, we don't have any problems. It's ridiculous. So I think it's good to have games or any form of media like this that looks at problems in our own country.
Well, and if you're going to go as far as to say that they need to be addressed or whatever or whatnot like that, Grand Theft Auto, even though it's set in a fictional city, it's based of America, and that they draw attention to a lot of the different issues that go on in the country with obesity and all sorts of different things that they address in the in the funny commercials, the radio ads, the missions, the problem, with social media. They address all that in that game, and it's just one of those things where, are you going to not play Rockstar because you do a mission that might offend you? No. You might play that mission, you might not like it, but at the end of the day, you enjoy the game, and this is probably going to be the same thing. That's why I said about the story not being so much of the game. You're still going to be able to play the game that you thought Far Cry was, and there are going to be some story bits here and there, and they may offend you, they may not, but at the end of the day, the story isn't the bulk of Far Cry. If you enjoy the gameplay, then I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be able to get past those parts. And
I do too. So the worldwide reveal trailers tomorrow, and looking forward to that. And I have to say, I went from last week saying, "Oh, this is gonna be a Western game. This is dumb. Why are they doing that?" to I'm really interested in it now. So
Well, I think we were in agreement that it was going to be an Old West game. It still is
yeah,
a Western
yes,
game, but
yeah, you're right.
it's an Old West game, which brings us to our next topic, which is the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 has been delayed until 2018. And it's one of those things where it does kind of suck, but at the same time, like we said before, we know Rockstar's going to put out a solid game. So, you know what? Take that more time, polish it up. We know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, we're all right with it. I mean, I had just seen a few more screenshots that I hadn't seen before, and I thought, oh my goodness, I just can't wait to get into that game. And yeah, it's going to stink that we're not going to get our hands on it this year, but when we get our hands on it, we know it's going to be good. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's not too bad.
Absolutely. Microsoft changed the name of their streaming service from Beam, which we had talked about before, to Mixer, and Mixer is being advertised for its interactive nature and low latency. So they're pushing that, during chat, it'll be more immediate response, so it's more personal, I guess. And they added a couple of features which I thought was pretty cool. The biggest one being you can have 4 gameplay perspectives on one screen. So if you're having a group stream a game, you can watch all 4 people if you want and have the same chat and all that stuff, which I think would be cool if you wanted to stream with multiple people.
Yeah, I mean, this is something, and this is something I could see us doing when we play Ghost Recon, because when we play that, we always have such a good time and laugh, and we get serious sometimes, but most of the time we just have fun, and we are able to play the game in that manner and have a good time, and I think people would easily be able to laugh at our antics, because we do a fair share of serious and not so serious aspects of that game, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and then they also have an app so you can stream from your phone. You can just do the camera so you can stream yourself, or you can stream a game on your phone, which I thought was cool. I'm not sure if I would be that into it, but if there were another game like Pokemon Go or something like that, I'm sure there'd be a ton of people streaming that.
You know what I say to that? Pokemon No.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out Mixer and keep an eye on it. Microsoft's Game Pass service is available to Gold membership players for free for a 14-day trial, and we talked about this before. It's kind of like a Netflix of video games. Right now, I checked today and I got on and tried it, and there were 112 games available. There was popular ones like all the Gears games were on there, but honestly, the majority of them were ones I'd never heard of before. There were Xbox One and 360. You do have to install it, which I was kind of bummed about. It would have been nice to be able just to stream it, but
if they were on the streaming level, it'd have been hands down easily worth $10 to be able to jump on and find a game that you liked and play it, stream it and play it for $10 a month. Once we get to that point, I see those kinds of I could see it being a viable option, but
yeah, I do too.
For now, I even dread, I own, kind of juggle my games on my Xbox One as it is, and it's like you kind of dread, I had the urge to play Destiny, but I didn't have it installed, so I, had to delete a game, install Destiny, install the updates. It was a little bit of a project. And it's kind of a testament on how much you want to play it. Now, the alternative to that is buy an external hard drive or buy a bigger storage, version of the Xbox, but
No, absolutely. So yeah, if you're interested in trying that, you can try it for a couple weeks and see what you think. Fallout 4 is also free on Steam this weekend, so if you have never played it and wanted to try it, now's your chance. Star Wars: The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson has said that there won't be any major romances in the new film, and I was kind of excited for that because I'm just ready to see cool stuff. I want to see battles. I want to see fights. I don't really care about any major romances at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, I saw a cool animated short that's on YouTube now. It's anime, and it's called Star Wars TIE Fighter, and it was really good. It was done by one person, and it is superb. I
Yeah.
mean, it's only about 7 minutes long, but it is a really good video, and it's kind of from the perspective of the Empire.
Mm.
And at the end of it, I wasn't, normally you're like, oh, the Empire's bad,
Yeah.
or well, some people might like the Empire, but really, it portrayed them as neutral, and you got behind. They kind of were focusing on three Imperial pilots, and it was pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely, if you get a chance to check it out, it's really worthwhile checking out. Really promising. I mean, I would definitely watch a Star Wars anime series for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Kind of sounds like what they're trying to do with the new game. The single player is kind of like it wasn't a TIE fighter, but I guess the main character is supposed to be like a special ops soldier or something for the Empire. So, and then we saw Alien Covenant last week, and overall, not sure how I'll start with mine. Overall, I thought it was okay. I thought we talked about a little bit after it being. I thought it was a very predictable movie. There weren't really any spots that I was shocked or surprised. It was kind of like this is how I thought it would happen. Like
Yes, once it started playing out, it was very predictable. I agree with you. Overall, it was an okay movie. If I had to pick, I would say probably Prometheus came off as a better movie to me than this.
Yeah.
The plot did move along pretty quick, I felt, and in that aspect, I think they missed out, because whereas like Prometheus was like, there's a lot more tension because it was a slower build, and I think that in this one it was well paced, but the pace didn't suit the movie. And I read that this still isn't what leads us up to the xenomorphs that we see in the regular Aliens movies, that we're still not there, and that they were saying that the way that this movie was developed, it takes the Predators out of the picture for this series, because if you go back to the Predators movies, 1 and 2, they were in the jungle, in the early 70s and 80s, and then Predators versus Aliens took place around the same time, or well, it took place in like 2000. So, but at that point, the aliens hadn't been created, and if you remember the plot of Aliens versus Predators, the Predators have been going to Earth and battling aliens as a rite of passage every 100 years or so, and so that makes the aliens older than what they are being portrayed in as Alien Covenant and Prometheus. They weren't even around at that point, so they've kind of taken them out of. They've kind of separated them. So now those Alien versus Predator movies are totally disconnected from the Aliens movies.
See, I didn't even realize that they were officially part of the Alien storyline.
They weren't.
Oh, okay.
What it was is, I believe it was Dark Horse had comic book rights to Aliens and Predators and had separate comics, and then at one point brought them together. And that's what generated. Well, this was in the early 90s that they had brought them together in the comic books, Alien versus Predator. So then that's what was the basis of the movie. So they did it in the comics and tied them together, but overall they weren't meant to be in the same universe.
It's been a while since I've seen a movie. I remember liking it though.
What, Alien versus Predators?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Predator. I liked Predator 2. Alien versus Predator was okay. Alien versus Predator Requiem I didn't really care for.
I don't know if I saw it.
I didn't think it was. I don't know. It was all right, I guess. I would say Predators with Adrian Brody is probably my favorite because I kind of like the idea of them harvesting the best of the best every so often and taking them to a hunting reserve and seeing, and hunting them. I like that thought. And I thought that movie played out well with the different types of killers and having, ones that you didn't expect to be, bad and whatnot. Yeah. But, overall, it wasn't. I mean, it was all right. Would I see it again? Probably. I probably wouldn't pay to see it again. I probably won't buy the Blu-ray, but I'd probably watch it if it was on TV.
Yeah. It was the one part I did like was seeing the evolution of the aliens was cool to see how that happened, but
a little bit. I don't know. Without giving too much away, I don't necessarily. I mean, I get how they evolved, but I don't exactly think that would. Well, it did happen that way, and I don't. For me, that's not. I don't know, not my cup of tea, or not how I would have gone.
Yeah,
but
I think the biggest thing that kind of turned me off was at the end. There was one thing that happened, and it was kind of left up in the air until the very end. But at least to us, it was very obvious. We were like, "Yeah, that's what's happening."
Well, I went back and forth through that little ending sequence with that until the very end. And then I was like, okay. I mean, you almost knew. You like you said, it was predictable. I wanted it to go the other way, but at the end it didn't. But
yeah, I don't know how they could have done better, because if they could have made you think it was going the one way and then have it totally flip, and then I would have been like, oh, cool, that was. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was very predictable in that aspect because it really couldn't have gone. It could have gone one other way, which we can discuss after that. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Give people another weekend a chance to see it. But
yeah,
and then we have this weekend. We have Baywatch coming out. I thought about wanting to see it, but I've watched a few reviews, and I kind of, once they pointed out a few things, I kind of have to agree with them. And it to me, now I've kind of lost all interest in seeing it. I mean, other than the boobies, but that's
yeah, it's that genre of comedy. I mean, I kind of put it with, the Neighbors movies, which Zac Efron was in, but not just because he was in it, but then that Chips movie, kind of that comedy style. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of. I'm sure it'll have some funny moments, but.
Well, in a few reviews, I saw them compare it to 21 Jump Street, and I think 21 Jump Street worked because they had a solid cast.
Yeah.
And the way they spun it worked. I think my problem with Baywatch and what I'm seeing now is like that the one guy with the curly black hair and a little shorter and a little pudgy. What's his purpose of being on the Baywatch team? I mean, I get it. He plays like I watched some bloopers from it, and it looks like he's going to be like the computer guy that plays that kind of. But I don't. The guy's not a well-known actor, and I don't know if he's been on a TV show or what. But it's just kind of one of those things. Is like, am I supposed to know this guy?
Yeah, I'm not even sure who you're talking about.
From what I've seen, is he doesn't seem too funny. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen. You might get David Hasselhoff.
I might, yeah.
Oh, that'd be. Keep scrolling. Nah, there's the Hoff.
He must be in it.
Yeah.
This
right
guy.
there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't even know who that is.
But that's a decent picture of him. He looks like a if you scroll down and click on the movie poster there, he looks like a Dorcas. You can zoom in on that.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't know you. I don't want to know you. Oh, now his belly button's right above your head.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So.
No, yeah. I don't know.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wanted it to be funny. Like, I wanted it to be not a serious Baywatch movie. So, the fact that it was going to be funny was good. But I think at the end of the day, I think the consensus is it's a swing and a miss. So.
Yeah, I get that feeling.
So.
Yeah, that's all our topics. It's a shorter week. We played, like you said, we played more Ghost Recon Wildlands. Been trying to wrap up the bosses on that one.
Yeah, you're a lot closer than I am. But it's one of those games where, obviously, you've put more time into it because you're max level. And
well, I think you've been going after more gun pieces than I have.
Yeah, but, well, and I don't know how they do the experience, and it really must be weighted to the story missions because I've killed a lot of enemies trying to get to the different gun pieces and stuff.
I think you get quite a bit for the story.
I think that's probably how you level up, obviously, because you're level 30 and I'm only level 23. So
yeah. I got Logan. Watched the Logan Noir version, and overall, I think the regular version's better. It was cool seeing it in the black and white in that, but the music seemed different, which I didn't really like, especially at the end, that last battle scene. It seemed kind of weird to me, and it gave it a weird mood. And also, I don't remember seeing in that last fight where he gets down and she runs up and jumps off his back and starts fighting guys. I don't remember seeing that in the Logan Noir version. Like I didn't.
It was in the I remember seeing it in the version I saw in the theaters. It wasn't in that other version.
I don't remember seeing it, so I don't know if they.
That was one of the better parts of it. It was like got you fired up.
Yeah, so I don't know if they cut some of the parts out, but I know they didn't add any parts. But yeah, I'd stick with the regular version, but which I watched again, love too.
Or no version.
No version.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. As always, check out our SoundCloud, our YouTube channel. I've also kind of been thinking about a cool idea to do, kind of a movie review series, but kind of make it a little different, maybe try to make it more entertaining. But I'm still working on that, so maybe we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so check out stuff, subscribe, so if we do stuff like that, you can see it, and we'll see you next time.